Namaste, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to Online Morning Yoga with myself, Christopher Love, for our morning discourse. And today, the topic I'm talking about is spiritual progress. And when we embark on spiritual practice, just like anything that we practice, we want to be able to sort of see and know what our progress is. The problem with spiritual progress is that it's not as easy as material progress. Like you can see your progress if you're playing a sport because of how you improve or scoring more goals or whatever it is required of that sport. Or you can see it in finance because success means you've got more money. But how do you measure your spiritual progress? How do you know that you're having any? Well, the number one thing you will notice when you're having spiritual progress is that you get less agitated by life. Part of our developing of our spiritual resources is that we start to become less concerned about the things that are happening around us. We start to see that everything changes. So if it's bad right now, it means it's going to be good at some other point. And if it's good right now, we know that we can also expect bad things to come eventually. So in this way, you start to get to the point where you're less in the ups and downs of life. You start to find a more even keel. Doesn't mean you don't have ups and downs, but they aren't quite as sharp and drastic. So this is one sign of progress, becoming less affected by life and its agitations. The next thing that we can see as spiritual progress is the awakening of our compassion. This is a very big and very important step in our spiritual awareness. But when we really, truly, and fully start to realize that other people actually have as much value as we do, and that other people's thoughts and opinions and concerns are as equally important as our own. Now, this might seem self obvious and self evident, but it really is a spiritual breakthrough to be able to completely empathize and realize that another has similar and equal worth to you. When we're not spiritually evolved and we're just coming from our own egoic consciousness, it's easy to think that other people aren't as affected as much as you. You have the right to get that because this other person doesn't want or need it as much as you. So if you have to step on them to get it, it's okay. That's a less evolved spiritual life. A very evolved spiritual person will see, I want that, but by getting it, it's going to cause harm to this person, and this person. Therefore, it isn't worth me having it. So this is a different attitude of awareness and compassion, and that having something for the sake of having it isn't worth creating suffering for others. But this starts just by simply saying, maybe that other person's opinion is valuable. And then you start to expand on that until you grow to where you see the true value in other people. When we develop ourselves spiritually, we're not just developing us, the physical, isolated being, but we're connecting to the spirit, and the spirit isn't bound by the body. It understands that we are vast, vast beyond measure, and that all human beings and all beings everywhere are equally as vast beyond measure when we leave behind the limiting factor of the physical world. These are just some of the measures. There's so many different ways, but these two give you an indicator that you're beginning to move forward with progress in the spiritual path. So cultivate these qualities. Listen to other people carefully and attentively. Open your heart to what they say. Understand that their feelings are real and true just as your own are. But don't let yourself be swayed over and get drawn under their emotional tide. A third spiritual awakening is being able to take all of this in and not let it affect us. Come back into our centered point. And that's where we'll begin our yoga practice today. Those of you online, thank you for joining us. We look forward to you joining us for online morning yoga. Namaste.